Hello, this is John, Veg Fisherman here. Got a reel to tear down. It's a Daiwa J13. And why am I tearing this thing down? It's pretty beat up. I got a rod I want to mount this on. And it's a vintage rod. It matches the reel. Maybe for display purposes. Never going to fish with it. It's a little rough, but I will make it operable. Let's put it that way. Let's see what it's made of. I've never been into one of these. It's probably gonna be kind of like a Silver Series, but not quite as nice, is what I'm guessing. Let's go into the drag here. Got drag stack of 3 washers. Maybe 3. Ooh, it's a pretty rough shape. The drag is stuck on it. It's never a good thing. We can fix it though. Just got to be patient and get it all unglued from each other. Don't know why that washer is bent like that. You might look into that before it's all said and done. Take the handle off. This one will probably go to a flea market and get sold as a complete rod and reel. I bought a rod off of at an auction and thinking it was something, and it wasn't what I thought it was. And it's an okay looking rod, but it's nothing I'm going to use to fish with. But it is vintage, and this reel fits it and looks correct on it as far as the year of manufacture, you know, when it might have been found on a rack. This is a Korean made Daiwa. It's not a Japanese made, so I don't expect it to be high quality. Those years when they first switched over to Korea, it was just not great. Pretty gunked up. It's going to clean up nice, so boy, it's ugly. I say pretty gunked up. It's really gunked up. While I'm thinking about it, before I lose it in the parts washer, there is a shim underneath the side cover, but just one. Let's see. This is going to have to. This pin's going to pull out, I believe. Got that pin out. This is a pretty nasty reel. I'm gonna enjoy cleaning this one up, to be honest with you. You pull the axle out now. Well, okay. So the axle comes apart. Then the main gear. Whew. Yeah, it's ugly. Real ugly. So this reel doesn't have a nut that holds the rotor on. Man, it is. That's not good. You know, it didn't feel that bad when it was all together, but the further down I'm taking it here, the uglier it's getting. There's a little plate in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it slides in there and it like a fork, and it holds the pinion bearing or pinion in there. The right there's what it looks like. The rotor assembly, all of it comes off just like that. There is no bearing, it's just a bushing, and it's, yeah, pretty worn. I don't think there's anything in there to change out. I'm almost done with this reel. We're gonna take the bell wire off. Put all the bell parts over here. There's no bushing. This reel's been used. I'm gonna tell you right now, whoever had this thing, they enjoyed some fishing with it, and that's good. I'm glad. It's okay. So the bell wire is underneath this side. This side over here is free, so we're just going to go ahead and take that off of there. Go ahead and loosen both of those up. You just have a screw over here that holds this bail on. The trip, the bail trip is underneath here. Let's see what I'm talking about here in just a second. There's going to be two pieces to that more than likely. That goes right there. There might be a small spring under here if it's made like the other Daiwas are. Nope, it's just one big piece under there, and that's cool. No spring on this side. It's just a lever. Comes out. I'm sure this reel probably sat for years thinking I'll never get used again, and here I am taking it apart. That's cool. Not that reels can think, but you know what I'm saying. This side over here is going to have your bail spring under it. And you take it off there, you just kind of lift it up and let it pop. They're not too hard to reset on these reels. There's nothing I can really do to tighten this bushing up in this reel. It just is what it is. Bell spring's in good shape, not broken or anything. This reel will clean up nice. That's pretty much it. When I get the machines fired up in the morning, I'll clean all this up. Right now I'm just going to go through and scrape some grease off of it. And I will bring y'all back when I got it all clean. Hello, this is John, Vintage Fisherman. Welcome back. Got a reel here I took apart yesterday. I'm finally getting back to the workshop today. Let's put it together. It's not a reel that's worth anything, but what drew my attention to this reel was somebody really fished this reel hard, and that is what it's all about, right? It's not about, you know, all the reels don't have to be expensive. It's about the stories each reel has to tell. I love to hear the stories on this reel. I just feel like it caught, even though it's, like I said, it's nothing fancy. It's caught a lot of fish, and that's what fishing's all about. And I'd love to hear the stories this reel could tell. So I thought it deserved another shot at fishing. So I took it apart and finishing up the cleaning here. I see I missed a couple things. When I get over here under some good light, I need to put some better light over especially at my stand where I clean the bodies. I use WD-40 to clean the painted body and the plastic bodies on these reels, and sometimes it's hard to see over there. I need to fix that about my workshop here, I guess. But you know, like I said, it's nothing fancy, but we're gonna give it some new life. And my plan for this reel is, and rod, I got a vintage matching fishing rod to go with it. I'm going to take it to a flea market, or yeah, I'll take it to a flea market. Ooh, I missed a lot there, didn't I? And I'm going to catch a kid walking by that has interest in, you know, I'll be able to tell by the way they look at my stuff I've got out there. If they got interest in fishing, I'm going to hand them this rod and reel. And I'm hoping that that'll be the jump start to a long life of tight lines and good times for some kid as they transition into an adult. And so I can kind of give some other child the same fun experiences that I had as a kid when I first learned how to fish, and then on, you know. There's nothing in the world like the feeling you get when that rod gets a jolt and you know it's something on there and it gets tight. It's just it's an amazing feeling. And you know, not everybody's as serious about fishing as the other, but we can all share that part of fishing, is the feeling you get when something's on the end of your line, and the excitement of what is it, how big is it, you know, am I going to get it in? You know, it's all a challenge. And that's my goal. My end game is to pass this on. You know, my boys don't always enjoy fishing that much, but you know, that's because they just it's not their thing, you know. But there's a kid out there somewhere that's going to enjoy it, and I want to give them the opportunity. And I've done so several times in the past. So looks like I got everything cleaned up. Let's see how this thing goes back together. And we'll put the rotor together first. Of course, it had, this goes in there. I want to say, yes, that wavy washer went in there like that. We'll give it a little bit of grease there. And then this went in. And then it had a cover over it. And a small screw. I was at a flea market last summer, and it was a fishing flea market, so it was all about fishing gear. And it was a young man there, and he was with his mom. His dad wasn't with him, and he was just all about fish. You could tell the kid was just excited. He picked up a rod and reel, and was looking at, and he looked at his mom, and I could tell she was. They were young, you know, young families starting out. And I remember when my kids were young, and everything's so flippin' expensive. And you can only imagine how expensive it is now. And I could tell she really wanted him to have it, but she didn't have the money for it. And I remember it pretty clearly. I said, well, you know, I'll drop the price. It was about $100 rod and probably a $20 reel. Nothing fancy. And she said, sir, I still don't have the money. I said, yeah, okay, I get that, you know. And he started walking away, and I hollered at him. I said, hey, kid, come here a minute. He walked back over, and I handed him the rod and reel. And I said, you go ahead and you can take that and go fishing with it. Get your dad to take you fishing. And she almost broke down in tears, and hell, I damn near broke down in tears. But they ended up, she ended up taking the rod, letting him have a rod and reel, and she promised she would send me pictures of him catching a fish, and so we exchanged information. So I knew it was her. It was texting me, because I don't know if it's somebody I don't know. I just swipe it off. But a week or two later, I wasn't thinking much about it, but I get a text, and there's a smiling young man holding a pretty nice slab-sized bluegill in his hands from that little ultralight rod and reel that I gave him. So that made my day. You know, that's what we do this for. Pass it down. He will be hooked for life. He'll never forget someone being nice enough to give him his first very own rod and reel. And I'm glad I had the means to do that for him. So just walking through this little reel here. Like I said, I'm gonna give it to somebody. It's nothing that's worth anything but the memories that somebody can make with it. I will even grab the little rod that I picked up for it and throw it on here before I get done today. Okay. Put the bail arm on. There's a hole that goes up into, and you just kind of slide it in place, and it will stay on there if you work fast. Nothing complicated about this little reel. It has caught a lot of fish. I can tell you right now, somebody really enjoyed fishing with this thing. They just flat enjoyed it. And isn't that what it's all about, folks? If you're on here watching my videos about fixing a reel, it probably means you've got one that you want to fix. It means something to you. Something your dad had, or your granddad, or what have you, you know. And all right, I'm getting quiet because I'm concentrating. I need 3 hands. That's got to get started in there while I'm holding on to all the rest of this. This one's got a weird design to the bail spring. I think I've got it right. Oh yeah. Roller's working. Okay, so we got a working rotor. Now, the housing did have some wear to it. I'm gonna grease it. I normally don't grease bushings, but this could use all the help it can get. So we're gonna grease that up. We'll grease the pinion up. Now it takes this little plate, and I think it'll only go one way. Yep, there it is. So that plate's in there. Next up is the main gear. Just make sure when you clean things up that you get all the crud out of the teeth of the gear. Any crud you leave in there is a potential lockup point for the reel and could cause a broken tooth. a malfunction in the reel. There's a lot of things that can happen from that. So always just make sure you go through and just clean out all the little pockets of crud. Make sure the teeth are nice and crisp. Alright, let's lube it up. Like I said, this is your main gear. Can't overgrease this thing, to be honest with you, in this reel with the tolerances as loose as they are. You're not going to make it sluggish at all. Just going to make it last a little longer. If it were a newer reel and very tight tolerances, it's kind of like in today's modern engines. They run really tight tolerances. You don't want to go too heavy of oil or too thick of a lube. This reel here is going to be just fine. Main gear just slides down in there. Okay. And then you got grease the eccentric. The eccentric goes in like this. And I do need to put some grease down there on that pin slide. We're going to put the anti-reverse lever into anti-reverse. It gets a shim right there. Give that some grease. There. Now we're going to put the shaft together. It takes this star, which is the line out clicker, goes on there like that, and then it's got a Teflon washer that goes between the line out clicker and the spool. There's something to talk about there. If you get a reel that is bunching the line up on one side of on the back of or the front of the spool more than the other, how you fix that on 9 out of 10 spinning reels is you add more or less shims right here to change the relationship of the spool to the line bailer. And that bait clicker will still work it's got enough tolerance to it, you can space it in and out. And that's how you adjust where that line lays on the spool. So you can, I fix a lot of reels for people that are like, what in the world did you do this thing? It's awesome. It's just that simple. Just go through and adjust those shims, and you can buy shims in packs. They sell them, I think, on Amazon and so forth. They're not specifically for fishing reels, but you can make them work for fishing reels. So that pin goes through the eccentric lever or crossline lever and down and into a slot in the bottom of the case there. Okay. Now this guy here, let's see. We'll grease it up good. There's that slot on the top side that same lever rides back and forth in. And then I've got to glue this up a little bit, and then just a little drop of oil on the anti-reverse pawl. Okay, I need to flip the anti-reverse pawl into non-anti-reverse mode. I'm going to get it to right here, and I'm going to, I don't know if you can see it down there, but I'm going to take that and flip it down and get that to go into place. And then just put your screws in. I don't know if I'll spool any line up on this or not. If I've got some cheap 8-pound over there, that's what I'll put on. This reel doesn't need any more than 8-pound test. I don't think it's going to have that much drag to it. All right. I already got some grease on the handle stud there, so we'll just thread that on there. Put a little bit of oil in the handle itself. Still a little noisy, folks. I can't do nothing about that. That's just a pot metal gear against a pot metal gear, basically. I did get most of the slop out of the rotor. All right, let's put the drag together. They had this wavy washer in there. Something just tells me it wasn't right. So I'm going to go into my box of tricks here. Might be too thick. We're going to put the wavy washer in. Let's put some oil on that. Let's see if it's all going to fit. We'll put a solid washer in. Drag washer. I don't want to over drag this thing because it's not a lot of reel here. I'm afraid I'm gonna get too thick here. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Well, no, it's pretty close. Get everything packed in there good, maybe it'll work. Yeah. It's that damn wavy washer. Let's put this up before I end up rocking it all here. I'm going to try to get that snap ring seated. I've got part of it. Maybe I shouldn't try to re-engineer this reel, I don't know. Yeah, it went from all to nothing there on drag. So let's rethink it a little bit here. It worked, but it worked too good. Does that make sense? So we're going to take, I need a really thin washer right there is what I need. Don't really have anything. thinking. That's too small. That's what I thought. Let me do it a different way. I don't like the way they had this from the factory. I'm just gonna re-engineer it, but using the same parts. So I know the stack is gonna be the right height. Let's try it. Got nothing to lose. Normally they have a spring in the knob, and that's what puts your tension on your, oh yeah, that's perfect. It's very proportional. So basically what I did, folks, is the way it came in to me is the wavy washer I've got on top was on the bottom, and your drag washer was sitting on that. Well, the drag washer was only hitting 2 points of contact on the wavy washer. Well, that's not giving you a smooth drag. So I put the drag washer, then the top washer, and then the wavy washer. So I'm getting my spring tension up here at the top, but I've got flat surface contact with the drag in the bottom. And now I've got a smooth drag on it that won't cost you a fish. Okay, so there is a $2 reel that I'm going to hand to a kid. Let me go get the rod and put it on. It's a vintage rod. Picked it up. I think I won it at auction, actually. It's a vintage Daiwa rod. Nothing fancy. Weird looking grips. I don't know what kind of material that is. It's just got wire guides. I'm gonna clean it up yet. I haven't done that. I need to kind of fix that label a little bit, but it matches the reel pretty well for time period. And you know, like I said, I wouldn't fish more than 8 pound test on this reel, but as you can tell, that's just about the right kind of match to it. It's a 6 foot rod. And so there it is. Some kid's gonna get a decent little reel at a flea market this summer. Anyway, this is John, the Vintage Fisherman. I appreciate you watching. If you like the video, please hit the like button. You know, come back. I've got more content coming. Please subscribe to my channel so you'll know that, and I will definitely catch you on the next video. Thank you.